Welcome to the Psychology and Sociology module of CAM's 3208 Gaming Homer, and we're going to be looking at some Homeric passages in this section of the lectures, and we're also going to be looking at some material from Gregory Nage's Best of the Achaeans. Now, the chapters that you read for this module, chapters 5 through 8 of Best of the Achaeans, may have struck you as a little bit confusing, and I apologize for that, but if we're going to get deep into what's actually going on psychologically and sociologically in the Iliad and the Odyssey, we have to understand the mechanics of how that psychology and sociology are going to work. And those mechanics have a lot to do with that hero cult stuff that Nage is always talking about. And the reason is that it's impossible to be a hero in the Iliad especially, but also the Odyssey, because the Odyssey, as we've seen, is so reflective of the Iliad all the time. It's impossible to be a hero without thinking about what's going to happen after you die. So to be a hero of hero cult is really the same as being a hero of the Iliad or of the Odyssey. And the thoughts that the bards of the Iliad and the bards of the Odyssey had about what it means to be a person are completely bound up in this idea of what it means to be a hero. So in the Iliad, we have the figures of Achilles and Patroclus and Hector counterposed as they think about what it means to give their lives. And in the Odyssey, we have the figure of Odysseus as a kind of reflective figure about what it means for him to try to come home and have a homecoming without dying the way Achilles, Hector, and Patroclus all did at Troy. So in this lecture, we're going to be thinking about how that means that the Iliad and the Odyssey have a kind of psychology and a sociology to go along with it. That is, what I'm going to try to suggest is that the psychology of the Iliad and the Odyssey are really completely coterminous and intermingled, if you will, with their sociology, because to be a hero in the Iliad or the Odyssey is to be a figure of public worship. That is, to be part of the hero cult that is going to come after you. Now, even if you're not somebody who actually had a real hero cult, like Hector probably and Patroclus, who seem to be creations of the Iliadic bards, even if you're one of those heroes, nevertheless, the fact that other heroes in the epic, especially people like Agamemnon, are hero cult figures, means that whenever you're a hero in an epic that's going to be delivered to an audience that lives in a Greece where hero cult is becoming the most important thing in terms of binding the polis together, if you are one of those heroes, if you're a Hector or Patroclus, you are, like Agamemnon, like maybe Achilles, thinking about what it means to be the hero of hero cult. And so psychology, what it means to be kind of a hero who has an inside, to put it very baldly, and sociology, what it means to be a hero who is going to give the world a hero cult within which they can get together and form the social bonds that are being formed within hero cult, within which performances of epic of the Iliad and the Odyssey can happen, and your kleos can live on from year to year. All of that goes together. And so psychology and sociology are more or less one. So what we're going to look at is a kind of focus on the figure of Hector in Iliad 6 and think about what that means for what else is going on with the heroes and their insides and also their relationship to the social aspect in the Iliad. And then we're going to look at Odysseus's different attitude as it's reflected in the marvelously psychological encounter he has with Penelope, the most intimate moments of the entire Odyssey, although what I'm going to suggest is that there really aren't any intimate moments, and that this moment is in fact played publicly, and within it, this confrontation between Odysseus and Penelope, we see the Odyssey bard's different relationship with the psychology and the sociology of what it means to be a hero, and we see a kind of negotiation wherein a new kind of psychology for being a hero is born. And then obviously in the next part of this module, we're going to be talking about how that relates to video games, the psychology and the sociology of video games, the way that they evoke what's on our insides and how those insides relate to all of the other people around us and all of the things that we and those other people are doing, which of course is culture. So here's a bit from chapter 8 in Naj's The Best of the Achaeans, which isn't going to seem on the surface of it to have anything to do with psychology, but what I'm going to suggest is that when we're talking about the Iliad especially, we have to think of psychology in terms of these concerns of hero cult. We're on page 149 of The Best of the Achaeans. The epic tradition of the Iliad has neither the vocabulary nor really the thematic need to distinguish the cult of heroes from the cult of gods. The hero's ritual antagonism with a divinity can find its epic expression in his aspiration to get the same theme, that means honor, as his divine counterpart, and the narrative leaves it at that. Okay, so theme, honor, is the thing that's at the heart of the plot of the Iliad, because of course Achilles sits out of battle because he feels his theme has been taken away. And so this relationship between the honor that a hero wants, which includes the kleos that he's going to get in epic poetry, all of that is in fact psychological. And the notion of honor is absolutely key to the psychology of the Iliad, and also the Odyssey, although as we'll see it's going to be crucial to the Odyssey in a different way, because the Odyssey is going to be proposing a different kind of psychology and sociology. All right, now what I want to put that together with is Hector's words from the end of Book 6 in the Iliad. He's talking to Andromache, of course, right before he goes back out to battle. And Andromache has asked him to stay because she's worried about him. But it is not so much the pain to come of the Trojans that troubles me, page 165 of the Latimore Iliad. No, not even of Priam the king, nor Hecabe, nor the thought of my brothers, who in their numbers and valor shall drop in the dust under the hands of men who hate them, as troubles me the thought of you, when some bronze-armored Achaean leads you off, taking away your day of liberty in tears, and in Argos you must work at the loom of another and carry water from the spring Messeus or Hypereia. All unwilling but strong will be the necessity upon you, and some day, seeing you shedding tears, a man will say of you, "This is the wife of Hector, who was ever the bravest fighter of the Trojans, breakers of horses, in the days when they fought about Ilion." So will one speak of you, and for you it will be yet a fresh grief to be widowed of such a man who could fight off the day of your slavery. But may I be dead, and the piled earth hide me under before I hear you crying, and know by this that they drag you captive.
No, I won't do that. I'm afraid you're just going to have to